Hi everybody, Sharon Pederson back again with some fun new tips for you. And those of you who've been watching regularly have probably already noticed that behind me we've changed the set. So off to my right, that would be your left, we have a wonderful sunflower pattern that's going to be a free downloadable pattern from the QUILT website. Below that we have one of Nine Patch Media's new patterns. It's a beautiful quilt designed by Rebecca Reinheimer in Israel, and she calls it Rose of Guinevere, sorry. And directly behind me, a quilt that is going to be a block of the month, and it's called Midnight Roses. And to my left, your right, we have a lovely Sashiko rose quilt. And it's done using your embroidery module. There'll also be an option for those of you who want to do it on a conventional machine. So now that we've established what's behind me, what am I going to talk about right now? How to control thread and bobbins. Now, I know I've talked about this before, but I've learned a couple of new things. One, from friends of ours who came to do a DVD with us. So we thought it was worth repeating. So if you have a thread collection that has gotten out of control, I know none of you are complaining about having too much thread, but wouldn't it be wonderful if there were some ways for you to keep them together, the thread you have in the needle and the one that you want to put in the bobbin. So what I did, because I have these two wonderful collections here with very similar colors, so let me take the lids off and I'll show you. Okay, yes, I know there's two missing, okay. But do you see we've got lots of similarities here. And one of the boxes, the one with the orange spools, is the 50 weight thread. This one that I have open, the green spools are 40 weight thread. And so when I was working with these 40 weights and I wanted to have exactly the same thread in the bobbin, once the thread was on the bobbin, I couldn't figure out which one was which. So what I did was I went out and I bought two delightfully loud and obnoxious nail polish colors. So an orange one for this box, a green one for this box. So when I wound thread from the 40 weight, which is the green spools, I just used a bobbin that I had put a little bit of green nail polish on. So I went out and bought myself some more bobbins. You can never have too many of those. And I did 12 with green nail polish and I did 12 with orange nail polish. I wound my bobbins, and then whenever I needed a 40 weight or a 50 weight, I knew exactly which color bobbin to go to. And to make it even easier, I got one of these wonderful little clover bobbin holders, I guess you call them. And wasn't it nice of them to have one of them made with green? So there's my green, okay, the 40 weight threads on the little green clover one, and the other one is sort of yellow, so I'm pretending, you know, yellow, orange, same side of the color wheel. So all of my orange ones are here, and of course the orange is the 50 weight. So that's how I keep track of the 50 weight, 40 weight, and so I can always make sure I know exactly what I've got in the bobbin and that it is the right weight. So that took care of that problem. But there are other situations that come up. Sometimes you have a thread and you wind a bobbin that goes with it and the bobbin disappears into your box of bobbins. But when we had Susan Perney Mark and Daphne Gregg here quilting or filming with us, Daphne showed me this wonderful trick. An ordinary safety pin. If your bobbin has holes, you just run the pointy end of the pin through that and ta-da, it sticks in the top of the cone. Isn't that wonderful? Sometimes though, I don't have a cone, I use a spool. And sadly, I couldn't get the pins to stick, okay? They were just too big. So what I did was I got somebody with good strong thumbs to take my ordinary safety pin, bend it so that it was big enough to go around the end of the spool like this. And then I'm just going to grab an empty one here. I could get my bobbin, and again I have to be a little bit, push this a little bit Now that one's not going to behave itself. Wouldn't you know, when we start filming, it starts misbehaving. All right, I'll get this any minute now. There. So now I have attached the bobbin with that particular thread to the top of the spool. So that takes care of that one, okay? Neat trick, right? So that just remains one more little problem, and that is when I'm working with the great big huge cones and I've wound my bobbin with the gray thread, occasionally it just disappears on me. So what I did was I took, there it is, right there, okay? Again, orange nail polish on the bobbin because I'm using this and I want both the same in the top and the bottom. So what I did was I grabbed my purple fang, all right, because it happened to be handy, and I just put my, upside down, I put my bobbin on top, but then I needed my purple fang, right? So I went and found something that was easier. So this is just one of those orange sticks that you get in the nail polish department. So when I'm working and I'm changing thread constantly, this is how I keep track of things so that they don't fall all over the place. And the final thing is, when I'm working with Sashiko, which uses this heavyweight thread, and then in the bobbin I like a navy blue thread with it, or whatever you're using, I found that just an ordinary chopstick will keep those two things together. So this is my attempt to keep my sewing surface free of loose bobbins and thread rolling all over the place, and it helps in a small way keep me sane. So I hope you enjoyed it.